What's up, everybody out there? Trying to beat the rain today. As you can see, it's been missing off and on, but the wife's Rogue needs brakes changed, and we've talked about changing brake calipers and lines and our brake caliper press, all this stuff videos before, but we've never actually made a video about how to just change brake pads. So today, sorry, the screen's a little dirty. So today I'm going to sit down. It only needs the fronts. The backs look like they were changed right before we got them, so they're like 90% of the life left. So we're going to talk about the tools you'll need, how to do it, different types of brakes you can buy, and we'll just get the whole job done today, hopefully before it starts raining. So let's get busy. Okay guys, I'm gonna go over real quick what you need to change your own brakes. It's actually not a whole lot of stuff. You can do most jobs in your garage. You can do this. First thing you need, obviously, is a jack to get the car up in the air with, and jack stand for safety purposes. I'm only gonna do one wheel at a time, so we'll only need one. If you want to just get the whole front end up so you can do both sides, use two of these. Next thing, obviously, brake pads. Call AutoZone, Advanced, Napa, wherever. Tell them what you need. I got some lubricating oil to spray just in case the wheel is stuck to the hub. I have disc caliper lube. That's for the sliders. It is a two 14mm bolts to get it loose, so I have a ratcheting box end. I have my brake caliper spreader. We did a review of this. You can use C-clamp too. If you like to see that, it should pop up somewhere up in that area. A 4-way to get the lug nuts loose, and just in case stuff gets sticky, a mallet. Consider, guys, when you're changing your own brakes, is what kind of brake pads you want. The big ones are organic, ceramic like we have here, and metallic. Each one has their own thing. Organic will be the cheapest, but it will also last the least and perform the worst. Metallic is more harsh. It's a lot noisier. It is mainly for like heavy duty stopping, like big trucks or vehicles that are pulling a huge load, or race cars where it's not gonna matter if it's noisy. It's also the hardest on your brake components. Now, the best one, in my opinion, and based on all this stuff, is ceramic, as you can see with these Duralast pads. Now, there are different levels of ceramic. The regular ceramic was $26.99. The premium ceramic you see here that we have was like $29.99. It's $3 more to get a better pad. One thing that is handy that it comes with better, it actually comes with all the hardware, and it comes with the lube if you don't have any. That's something to consider. It's worth it just to get the hardware and the lube, plus it's a better pad, so it will stop better and last longer. And then on top of that, a few dollars more was what we got, these PowerStop Evolution ceramic disc pads. These are a better type of ceramic. They've got different chemicals mixed in with them to make them better. They are scorched and chamfered on the edges to make them seat in better and wear better overall. So what we're going to be installing today is these PowerStop Thermal Evolution. So just consider, just because it's the cheapest doesn't mean it's better. And sometimes, like with these or these were $3 more than just the regular, and then these were like $1 or $2 more than that. So for like $5 more, I actually got one of the better ceramic brake pads. So sometimes it's better to pay and get the better pad, especially on the wife's car, because she needs all the brakes she can get. First thing we got to do here, especially if you're doing this job by yourself, get the hubcap off. They're plastic. Just kind of grab them and give them a little yank, and they should come off. If not, just pull a little bit, work your way around. Remember, these are plastic, so you can break them. Next thing you want to do is break these loose while it's on the ground. If you get up in the air and try and break them loose, it's going to spin unless you've got the brake set or somebody in there to hold the brake. So we'll break them loose, jack the car up, put the jack stand under it, and go from there. Remember, guys, star pattern. Whew. It's been a while since these have been off. All right, those are broke loose. So now what we will do, find a good, safe, solid spot under the car to jack it up from. And it's raining. Okay, had a little bit of rain, so now it's just hot. If you don't live in the South, it's a thing. Humidity sucks. But we have the car up on a jack stand. As you can see back there, it is directly on what would be called the frame rail, even though there's not really a frame, it's a unibody car. And it's on the jack itself. I've released all the tension off the jack and put it directly on the jack stand, but I'm gonna leave the jack under there just in case. So next thing we need to do, get the wheel off. So now that they're already loose, this will be easy. I highly recommend investing in a lug wrench if you're going to be doing stuff like this a lot, taking wheels off and on. Makes your life a lot easier than that little rinky-dink Mickey Mouse one, El Cheapo one that comes with the factory. Okay, now sometimes you'll get to this stage and the wheel will just come off, but as you can see, this one doesn't. So what I'm going to do is just take just a little bit of our liquid wrench lubricating oil. You can use penetrating oil, whatever. Just put it right there. Just the way you get that a little bit loosened up. Then what you can do is take your dead blow hammer, your mallet, whatever, give it a few whacks, knock it loose. See, it's already starting to come loose there. Either knock it on the side, or sometimes if you hit the hub, hit the lugs themselves, just a general jarring motion will knock it loose. Okay, set this to the side. Now, since we are just doing pads today, one thing to do is to inspect your rotor. Run your thumb across it, feel any grooves, look for hot spots. A hot spot will literally be the shape of the rotor, like embedded in. That means that you've had like emergency stopping, and it like literally dug in so hard and so hot that it imprinted itself in the rotor. I have no lips here. There is a little bit of wear here and there, but one thing you will look for is like grooves. If you can slide your thumbnail across it like this and it catches, it needs to be machined or replaced. Or a lot of times what happens is the pad doesn't contact all the way to the edge of the rotor and you'll get a lip. These are fine. Front and back feels good. This is just a pad change, so the rotor is in really good shape actually. These look like they might have been changed. So now we're going to start disassembling this pad. Hey guys, there are two 14mm bolts right here. Now if you're just doing a pad swap, you just need to take the top half of the caliper loose. If you're doing the rotor, there'll be bigger bolts right here that takes the bracket loose as well, so you can throw it off. But since we're just doing the pad, we're just going to take this loose. My advice is do the bottom one first, because if you do the top one and then go to torque on the bottom to get it loose, this whole thing's just going to pivot. So do the bottom. Remember, lefty loosey, and remember you're facing the wrong way, so lefty will actually be this way. Okay, get the top one. Now the other side was a lot tighter than this, so I actually put my ratchet on it and then hit it with the dead blow, hit it down. It's easier to hit it down than it is to hit it like this. So take these out. Now on the front, you will notice they are different because on the rears, the slides and the bolts that hold the caliper on are one piece. On this one, you have a bolt and then the slider is separate. So what you're gonna have to do is take the bolt loose out, top and bottom. Okay. Top and bottom, as you can see, they are the same size. So then remove your caliper, set it to the side, put it somewhere where it's not going to fall, and also so you don't get this line pinched or caught or whatever. What's good is it'll sit right here. If not, you can run a zip tie from here to hold it. Okay, now then remove these. These are the actual slides that the caliper slides on. They've got these little boots on them. The boots right over this little, as you can see, there's a little lip right there. The boot actually has a little boot on itself that goes over that. So what you want to remember is that's your front one, or your top one, whatever. This is the bottom one. And the reason I say that is, if you notice, the top one is a little bit longer. Not all cars are like that. Some cars will be equal length, and on the bottom it'll be like grooved or recessed, but always keep top and bottom. Okay, always remember that. Okay, so now you just want to pull your pads out. They will just simply pop out like such. Pop out like such. They pull out. Now, this is a new pad. This is an old pad. As you can see, there's very little life left here. These are down to the screamer bars, as they call them. What happens is this little bar starts riding. As you can see, it's made a little groove and starts squealing real bad, squeaking, all kinds of noise to tell you, hey, you're down to this last little bit, you need to change this. Something else to notice here too is these have a little tongue in them. These aftermarket ones don't. I don't know why necessarily. Everything else is exactly the same. The other side went in fine. I've already done the driver's side, so I don't know why it's different. But as you can see, this is brand new versus that. So that's why they need to be changed. So now we'll get them in there. So the reason that little tab, that little tongue, you can see that little groove is in here is to go over these little retainer springs. These obviously don't have that. So what I'm having to do is I took this, put it in the bottom behind it, as you can see. Now on top, what I'm gonna do is just take it, and just give it a little love tap, and it will go past it, okay? So now, we're done. Normally you would replace these springs, but like I said, the power stop ones did not come with the hardware. Now we will put the caliper back after we reinstall our bolts. We have our ultra disc brake caliper lube, or you can use the little packet that comes with them. Or if you don't have a big tube like this, right by the register sometimes, they'll have little, what they call job packs. It's like $1. That's a little pack. So what you do is it's got, as you can see, it's got grease and stuff on it already, but I'm gonna put some more, some fresh, so fresh and so clean. Just put a little bit on there. Remember guys, this is the bottom. Now you don't want to go overly heavy on this, because when you put it back in that boot, a lot of it's going to get scraped off. So try and go kind of spread it out thin, that way it doesn't get scraped back off. So when you slide it back in the boot here, as you can see, you'll slide it back in. This is the bottom, remember. Slide it back in, push it in, and make sure you can see that boot goes up and goes over that lip, okay? So repeat that for the top one. Guys, something to notice is these are flat on two sides. You can see you got a round side and a flat side. Is those will ride actually in these little grooves, so when you reinstall this, you'll need to make sure it's lined up. Okay everybody, we compressed the piston back in the caliper with our caliper press. So now we're going to reinstall, slide the caliper back over the pads, and like I said, it's kind of hard to do this one-handed. Push these in, make sure that lines up like that, that lines up like that. Take your two bolts, make sure you're not cross-threading. Remember guys, opposite, so it'll be opposite of what you're used to, okay? So, and what I mean by opposite is you're not looking at it, it's backwards from you. You'd be looking at it if you were in here. It's getting ready to rain, so I need to get this done pretty quick. 14 millimeter. Try and tighten them down evenly. Okay. Okay, it's tight. So now what we will do, put the cap back on our lubricant, put the wheel back on, drop it on the ground. All right, we got the Wheel on, lug nut started. We'll go ahead. I always start with the bottom because it's where the wheel wants to angle out. If you start with the bottom, it will make it draw in better. It's more flush. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, tighten them down till the wheel starts spinning, and then star pattern them. Like I said, wheel is not completely flush, so as you do this, I will go around it actually a couple times to make sure it is sitting flush and even. Okay, so now we'll hit them all again real quick. As you can see, picking up probably a full turn on each one, just about, especially on the bottom. And when I get it on the ground, okay, so get this, okay, drop top, raindrops. Okay, get it up in the air a little bit. Jerk the jack stand and the jack out. Hey there. Okay. Now we will put it back on the ground. Nice and easy. Okay, so now what we're going to do, guys, it's on the ground, weight's loaded on it. You don't want to go too tight on this, because then if you have to change a flat side of the road, you won't be able to get it undone. Especially with this being the wife's car. Just torque it down before this full-blown rain starts. It's just a little mist right now. Okay, hit them again. Okay. Alright guys, rain time. Well, we got done just in time, guys. So when this quits, we will take the car full drive around the block, make sure everything's good, check the torque on the lug nuts, and finish this job up. Everybody, it's still raining just a little bit, but not too bad. So now we're gonna put our seat belt on, fire the car up, and take it for a spin. One thing to remember, and I've done this many a time, and you can ask anybody that's ever changed their own brakes that they forget about. When you first get in the car, you have compressed that caliper, the piston in the caliper, all the way back up in there. So it's not making full contact yet with the pads. So what you need to do, pump the brake up a few times, get those calipers, the memory on them, reset. That will let the piston come out and seat the pads against the piston face, and then the face of the thing, and against the rotor. I have went, no lie, took off after changing brakes, got out to the end of the road, pushed the brake, and it just went to the floor because there's no contact yet. So always pump your brakes up and make sure you've got pedal feedback. So now we'll just go for a little drive, see how it does. Okay, no noise so far. So what you want to do, guys, it tells you to get to 10 miles an hour and then do a slow stop. So come to a complete stop, okay? Then get to 20 miles an hour. Come to a slow, complete stop, okay? So then we'll go to the end of the road. Come to a stop again at the stop sign, of course. Then it tells you to get up to 30 miles an hour. I'm in the neighborhood here, so I'm not trying to fly like a maniac, but we'll get to like 30, right about there. Make sure there's nobody behind me. Come to a complete stop. Now, your pad should be seated now. Now, for the first few days, you will smell some brake pad as they're wearing in, getting seated. I don't hear any weird noises. Squeaking, no shaking, no nothing. The pads were definitely the issue. We got them before they started getting into the rotor. So come to another stop, signal, go down here to where I turn onto my road, get another slow, gradual stop. You don't want to slam the brakes on because then you can create hot spots, or I have actually cracked a pad before like that, before they get seated in. I'm going to stop, signal, pull back in. So now we will pull it in, retorque my wheels, and then we will go from there. Nice and smooth, it's what you want. Nice and smooth. We're gonna pull back in, check the wheel, make sure it's good, and then we will be done. All right, everybody, we rechecked the torque on those, it's still good. I'm going to put the hubcap back on, and then we just changed our own brake pads for, I think it was like 29 bucks for the pads or something. Just the regular pads. We did get the better ones, we paid a little bit more, but it was like 60 bucks total, between 60 and 70 for the pads, and probably about an hour worth of work if you did it. You just saved yourself quite a bit, because I know on my 350Z, just for pads on the front, it was almost $200 just to change the pads, and that's crazy because that's probably the exact same pads I just put on there. So this is something you can do yourself, you know it's done right, and you're saving quite a bit of money. And it's raining. It's a thing, humidity sucks.